When ordering Crimson Tears in the Lands Between, you're given two options. Red Coca-Cola, which restores your health, and blue Pepsi, that restores your magic. But if you can use magic to restore your health, why would you need the Coca-Cola? Shouldn't Pepsi be okay? If you want to watch these runs live, follow me on Twitch. We find new ways to play Elden Ring all the time. Join my Patreon if you want me to have enough money to buy whatever soda I want. Place your guesses where this lands in our tier list, and to open up a refreshing can of Pepsi, keep watching. We're about to be the choice of a new generation.
I said there's something rotten here. Say what? You better hold your nose.
We start off as a prophet, and we're here to spread the good news about Pepsi to the lands between. They start with a good healing spell, can do damage with fire-type moves, and oh yeah, also we're Pepsi-man. The grafted scion has 100 arms, but no taste, so I'm not wasting my time refreshing him. Into Limgrave. There we can get a crafting kit to cook up some Pepsi pickles later. We get a horse from Lana Del Rey, Google Lana Del Rey Pepsi, and rescue the 2-liter Alexander in case we want an Ash of War talisman later. I like that I mention this every time, and it isn't necessary for the Alexander quest, but no one's pedantic about it. Everybody just loves Alexander so much, they don't correct me. What a king. I hit the third church of Kolika and warp before realizing this is not where I want to go. I'm gonna ruin this thing before it even gets started. Fighting the putrid avatar in Caelid isn't a bad idea. It's gonna drop around 13,000 runes after a Pepsi pickle, but it's gonna one-shot you at this level. Unfortunately, we got hit the first time. Whoops. Second try, we avoid the Elden Stars Juniors a few times, and then burn it down for the Flame Shroud and Cracked Tear, which boosts our fire damage by 20%. It's a great addition to the Pepsi-brand family. After buying a Throne Fire spell, we go for Colonel Sanders, but that means Nerd Juice first. The fight starts off fine with him running into our flames, but then goes south pretty fast. I just sort of stall out, waiting for Yura, then Yura goes down, and we finish him with fire. After all that heat, I know he's looking for a tasty beverage. The Colonel is much easier. He doesn't have bleed, so I get the recipe of 11 herbs and spices for my own Pepsi pickles. Turns out it's not 11 herbs and spices. It's raisins, chicken feet, and bugs. Sounds tasty. And here's where the mistake begins. I guess I got a little lost in that Pepsi sauce and thought with the Pepsi puppies from Brittany, we'd be strong enough to take out the cleanrot knights. It's the fire. They're double weak to it, so if I can get the dogs in here and start spamming catch flame, it shouldn't matter that we have low health, right? No. I said it was a mistake, remember? Fighting two enemies at the same time generally means you're probably gonna get hit. And if you heal with a slow spell instead of a speedy Coca-Cola, you're definitely gonna get hit while trying to heal. So we just kinda can't get hit like at all ever, and that isn't really an option with Cleanrot Knights. After 3 deaths, I decide to go and get some help from an old friend, Flame of the Redmanes. Not for the Ash of War, obviously that's bad. I just wanted to make our spear fire, and that also doesn't really work. Go get some more vigor, I guess. I died once while trying to cheese the Knight's Cavalry in the Dragon Barrow, but successfully got my cheddar on attempt number 2. Now we'll go back and just blast into the first Knight. If we can burn her down before the second one starts going, we should be fine, and no, this kind of just feels bad. I got my brain set on burn it down, steamroll through, and the sunk cost fallacy kept us in for 5 more deaths. It's an instinct I need to ignore in the future. So let's go level up the Finger Seal, which I didn't want to do because I was a big fool. I thought we were going to be using the Erdtree Seal since it has the highest scaling with faith, but it doesn't actually outpass the Finger Seal till you hit 67 faith, and yeah, we're not going that high. Should have just done this right away. Since I didn't want to buy the runes, we just ran through the Limgrave tunnels and took out the Stone Digger Troll for the runes to level it up again. And one more mistake. I should have leveled up the spear instead of the seal here. Even though we're not using the spear later, at this point in the game, spells just aren't as good at dealing damage as Ashes of War. Despite the huge nerf to Flame of the Redmanes, it actually is still the best way to handle these two, both because of the large range and most importantly because of the large damage. We are up to 14 deaths before we actually get the win for the Golden Scarab. Again, this is mostly a me problem. Thankfully, getting a 20% boost to our runes will make the rest of this run pretty smooth. Now we can warp into the Dragon Barrow and buy the Spiked Cestus so we can kill the dragon.
Didn't slay the dragon?
It's on my to-do list.
If we waited, we can get 20% more runes from the Scarab, so it's fine that we died 14 times because now things are gonna go marginally faster, I guess. I admitted it was a mistake, okay, let's move on. After we spill enough Pepsi on the dragon's socks, we head into Fort Pharaoh and almost get chomped by the fair rats. With our flame boosting tier, might as well head for the Putrid Avatar in the Dragon Barrow. It's just like the last one, but with way more health and damage. Not a huge issue, just a huge load of runes. Now imagine Pepsi in Fort Height. Here, Pepsi kills Fortnite. Knight, then we get the Dectus Medallion piece part 2. Not totally sure why I go for Margit right now, since I don't have a second talisman I want, but it goes fine. We bring the dogs, we bring Ben Stiller, he's in a Pepsi ad for the Super Bowl, I guess. We all work together, and the fact that we're over leveled as shit definitely helps. Off to Lernia now. It's got those blue vibes I really enjoy. Pull 2 fingers out of my hole and then we'll fight Smaragd. Ah, this sucks. Never mind. Let's just reset. If I could drink some red flasks, we'd just heal, but it's just kind of better to start over and do it hitless, or close to hitless. Since we pulled the venomous fang out of the abandoned cave, we can poison it by punching its toes, then try to fire the face. It kind of sucks. Cestus are better, so let's punch the dragon in the face instead. I don't want to go into Raya Lucaria just yet. Instead, I want to go into the Raya Lucaria Crystal Pepsi cave. Crystal Pepsi was discontinued a while ago, so it's solidified into the Crystal Pepsi-alien. But we can punch. Rocks are weak to punch. I've played Pokemon. I know how this works. Up to Altus, we ignore the free sentinels and head right into the sealed tunnel. It's sealed for quality and gives us a quality item, the bell bearing tube, so we can level up our casting seal before storming the gates of Raya Lucaria. There's a bunch of Burger Kings on the way in. They serve Coke products, so naturally we are their enemies. Thankfully, we can make it through and get to the main boss of the area, the Red Wolf of Radahn. I don't care about Renala. She's blue, probably a Pepsi fan. Red Wolf is red, and clearly trying to make us drink Coke because our HP gets real low. Thankfully, the Pepsi Corporation endorses a bit of dogfighting, so we have time to heal off very, very slowly, then finish it off with some more heat. To cast spells faster, we go upstairs and get the Radahn icon, which boosts the spell casting speed. Now the bosses are going to go really fast. Except Godefroy. I had a plus 12 seal, so I mistakenly assumed that if we used the Flame Shrouding Tier, we'd be able to deal decent damage to an Altus level boss. Now, eventually, we're gonna get some good spells, but at the moment, we don't have the investment to make them good. And hey, why? Why do I have a Physic Flask loaded with specifically fire boosting stuff, spend a resource to cast spells, and still deal comparable damage with Punch? Punch should be worse. Don't worry, spell enjoyers, Punch is also slow. There isn't really a good option, but I haven't learned my lesson, so we die twice and spend a full 17 minutes beating Godefroy down. 2 deaths is embarrassing, but consider, that means I was in an Elden Ring boss fight for 8.5 minutes on average with no flask healing. I'm kind of proud of that, even if I'm not proud I got sunk costed again. We just need better spells. So I beat Gostock to death, it's just slightly faster than fighting a Wind Knight on the safe path. Then land a big epic Storm Veil jump and open up the fog door for the Godskin Apostle prayer book. That'll give us some Black Flame spells later. For now, head up the danger path, which is extra dangerous since we can't take hits and heal off with Coca-Cola. Pepsi only. It's not another death, but it was stressful. Godric is just Godefroy with less health and a phase 2, so we should be fine. Oof. That's a bummer. Next try, we got it. We continue the Gold Mask quest for some spells that I'll actually not end up using, then go test our Black Flame on Grail. This spell kinda rules since it does about 2% of the boss's total health in addition to the fireball it already sends out. But Grail kills me anyway. Never mind, fists are better. Boy howdy, spells are bad. I'm just teasing. I do prefer weapons, but I know some people like spells, and that's fine. It's like preferring Coke over Pepsi. Speaking of heresy, we use these heretic spells against Exocus, and it works great for some more runes. Let's bring these spells to Radahn. He loves grape soda, which is gravity flavored. I got hit with 2 arrows coming in, pretty embarrassing. You can cast heal from the horseback, so it's not actually a huge deal if we have a whole party of soda fighting Radahn to distract him, specifically the 2-liter. He's such a beast. Hope I don't have to kill him later. The plan here is to keep our distance, throw Black Flame, whittle him down, and let everyone else tank. It's really important because in phase 2, I found a new problem for this run. If Pepsi Horse dies, we can only restore it with Coca-Cola, which means it dies and doesn't come back. And I don't know how to say no to Radahn's big drill without it. Who could say no? Next try, same strategy, new caveat. Don't get hit. Jot that down for later. Nearby in the Ward Dead Catacombs, there's another boss weak to fire. It's a bit labyrinthian. There's also a whole ass war happening in here. After a brief detour to get another pocket, we unleash our super effective damage on the Putrid Tree Spirit. It's weirdly not very effective. Did Pokemon lie to me? The boss is a little too fast, and we can't heal. Wait. If we don't want to get hit, why don't we just kill things first? Let's double chug it and double our Pepsi power.
Taste it, it's right.
We gotta do Brittany's quest for that. She's at the top of Caria Manor, which means we have to beat Loretta. Normally, not that bad. If you dodge an attack, you have time to heal. But if your healing is about 20% as fast, this goddamn horse girl does not stop shooting you. Leave me alone. You are not supposed to be hard. It's fine. We still made it out alive. Then we got to say hi to Brittany and begin our quest. There's a can of Diet Pepsi in Radahn's hole. Diet Pepsi is weak to dogs, so I just crack open a cold one for the boys. We're having a lot of fun here today, but I want to clarify dogs can't drink caffeine. Do not give them Diet Pepsi. To actually get our own can of Diet Pepsi, we need to get a little deeper into Radahn's hole and insert a little stone key and twist it a little so we can get that out. Even deeper, we get the Glovewort 10, and then we can warp into the Incel River main, say hi to Phalanx from Demon's Holes. Quick aside, would y'all want to watch a Demon's Holes run? Maybe we'll do some other Souls games if there's interest. Anyway, we get the Somber Stones and the Ghosties we need, then level up our Mimic tier to plus 10 right away. Having a second beverage spamming the Pepsi Zero Sugar Blast makes the Tree Spirit free. Honestly, it kind of takes the full focus of the Tree Spirit, and we get to hang in the back. Now we don't have to heal. I originally invested in Faith assuming Pepsi would be a god devoted to life, but what if it's the opposite? That's why it doesn't heal like Coke does. Pepsi doesn't want me to heal, Pepsi wants me to kill.
Now we can devour together.
First, we talk to Goldmask and Corn Syrup, then we ride further up to Altus and take on the Wild Cherry Assassin. Diet Coke and I trade off aggro, spamming some Pepsi Zero Sugar Flame until it dies, giving us the Black Knife, also known as the Wild Cherry flavor. We're gonna kill so many bosses here so goddamn fast, so let's explain why this is good. Well, you know, a little montage goes on in the background. The Blade of Death lowers an enemy's max HP by 10% for 15 seconds and does some percentage-based damage over time for 5 seconds. Pairing this with the Pepsi Zero Flame just deletes bosses. Gilka, dead. Tibia Meredith, dead. Magma Worm, dead. Maggie, dead. Gilka gave us the Ritual Sword Talisman for more damage at full health. Maggie gives us another spell slot. The other two were just on the way. Pepsi is not a merciful god. We can eat Snaker down a ladder and fight Anastia for the Golden Vow spell. We use the anti-airs, or should I call them anti-airy Pepsis? No, I shouldn't. No. Then we'll Snake Eater up the other ladders, what a thrill, and easily take down a Falling Star Beast. Tries to beat us with gravity attacks. How effective could gravity be? Fairly effective, second try win. Let's go somewhere we normally don't go, Volcano Manor. I really don't like this area. Lots of ghoulies trying to grab us, and the Godskin Noble blocking the rest of the area. I don't like Godskin Nobles, and will avoid fighting them whenever I can. But we live through the rollout, and despite the fact that it's also using Pepsi Zero Flames, ours still do great damage to it. We get a little lost trying to find the Sombra Stone 7 on the way to Rykard. I intended to grab the spear and just warp out and level it up, but what the hell? Let's see how good Wild Cherry and Zero Sugar are. It's actually okay. We still use the spear, and even unupgraded, it's pretty strong. Still died. For the runes to level up the spear, I'm gonna go take out the Draconic Tree Sentinel. We have to do it eventually anyway. Then we die one more time to Rykard before absolutely carving through Phase 1. Phase 2 isn't that bad either. I strategically used the spear to slow him down while Diet Pepsi melts him. Then I ate the boss's hole, like an idiot. So we have to go to the Walking Mausoleum in Lernia, then duplicate the boss's hole for the Blasphemous Blade. Here's how it works. When you kill enemies, you heal. When you use the Taker's Flame Ash of War, you heal a lot. It's a Mountain Dew Code Red sword. Just like Code Red, it's for gamers. Now, let's introduce Pepsi's final flavor.
You just opened up a great big can of whoop ass.
As we roll into Lindell, we're confronted with a Erdtree avatar that is barely a bump in the road. The Ritual Shield Talisman will boost our defense at full health, making the first hit we take in a fight a bit more bearable, and then we'll just melt down the Godfrey Shade like lemon ice. A Wild Cherry Assassin is on the way to Morgoth, but she only adopted the Wild Cherry. We were born in it, molded by it. We didn't taste Tane Cherry until we were already a Pepsi man, and it was nothing but sour. Diet Pepsi and I divide and conquer Morgoth, just dominating this pretender to the beverage throne. His beverage is just fizzy brown water, and Pepsi is, on its way to the Forbidden Land. On our way there, my majesty was confirmed. The game hears me.
Get out of here! Oh, he listened.
What? Am I affecting the reality of the lands between? Off through the mountaintops of the giants, there is no need to ignore Alice. We can just kill it so fast and slurp up its runes for extra flavor. Fire giant next. It might seem like we're kind of whizzing through the end game here, but after all this Pepsi, you'd be whizzing too. Our beginning strategy is the same as every other run, break his ankle. Then it becomes the same as every other boss fight in this run, melt him down with wild cherry. For some reason, his total health isn't reduced until phase 2 starts. Not sure why that is, but it goes fast. As long as this is all going so fast, why not get over leveled for no reason other than to make Radahn easier at the end? Definitely not trying to make up for being too aggressive at the beginning and taking unnecessary deaths. Nope, not me, couldn't be. First the Erdtree avatar in the mountaintops of the giants, we have fire, use the fire. Those runes are used to level up the bottle opener seal. Now let's head to the castle's hole. Wait, there's a deathrite bird on the way, and it's weak to holy damage. That's what wild cherry does. Let's kill a deathrite bird. It only took a minute. I spent those runes on Radahn's set for some more durability. The less healing we have to do, the better. I put a Pepsi in the castle's hole, and then managed to escape the knight on the shortcut. Niall and his knights hate Diet Pepsi. I guess that's not what they ordered. He works well enough as a distraction that I can keep my distance and unleash the wild cherry to safely bring Niall down. Into the consecrated snowfield where we beat down a Nastia for a Somberstone 10. Ensha wants to take our Haligtree medallion, but like, come on buddy, why are you here? He's really just a jump scare the first time you play. Every other time he's a fly you have to swat. The putrid avatar is weak to fire, and Code Red Blade does fire. I'll let you do the math on that one. Nearby we can get another Somberstone 8, then a Somberstone 9 from the Dragon Barrow. Hey, this one's really easy to get. It's just a bit east from the Faram Great Bridge Grace. So happy I found it, now you have it too. The Magma Worm is hypothetically easy runes in the consecrated snowfield, but you need the octopus to cooperate. Apparently octopi are a Coke family because they didn't want to help. I tried to get a crab, didn't work. Turns out the only person you can count on is yourself, without sugar. That means Diet Pepsi's Diet Wild Cherry Beams, since zero sugar fire is super resisted by the fire lizard. Who could have guessed that? We're good and overleveled now, so let's help Lana burn down the Erdtree, then head into Faram Azula. Don't get this grace, kids. This grace is bait. It's just here to kill you. It's not really helpful in any way. Still didn't die. Will we die to the Godskin duo? Remember, they also have the zero sugar flame. I bring in Diet Pepsi and heal off. For once, I'm actually able to get up on the column when the rollout happens and Chunky doesn't cheat. The boss fight worked like it was supposed to. Wow! Bernie can take aggro after the Mimic dies. We stay back and spam, so we're good. Swag jump, and then a fog door to see Alexander, the Warrior 2 leader. He's a noble warrior to his last, but we need some of that extra large power from Alexander's shard. Once we let Alexander shard in our Pepsi, the Ashes of War get a 15% damage boost. That's huge for both Code Red and Wild Cherry weapons. We max them both up, then head for the Draconic 3 Sentinel to test them out. It goes really great. Whenever we get hit, we can use the Taker's Flames to heal up. Who needs Coke when you have Mountain Dew Code Red? That's how you know you're at a gamer restaurant. You ask for a Coke and they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't serve Coke. Is Mountain Dew Code Red okay?" Malekith is trying to copy us with some wild cherry beams of his own, but obviously his are much weaker, except when he kills Diet Pepsi in phase 2. Uh-oh. Our whole strategy this run has been to split the aggro, hide, spam, and melt bosses quickly. Without Diet Pepsi, Malekith is just on our ass and will not let up. We almost died. Still kept it deathless. We actually haven't died since Rykard. How about that, gamers? Maybe Gideon will kill us though. If you don't have an Ash of War that knocks him on his ass and kills him in 3 hits, he can nuke you down. We have that though, so that's a win. Corey, put a timer up for Godfrey, please. My notes on the Godfrey fight are really short because the Godfrey fight is really short. I'm gonna stretch this section because the whole fight takes about 1 minute and 20 seconds, and I'd like to show you the whole thing if I can. I guess I haven't mentioned a few pieces of this puzzle. There's the Erdtree's Favor, which gives us some healing over time, and Golden Vow, which boosts our physical damage and resistance. So, yeah. Anyway, this is over. Radahn is weak to fire damage. Code Red is fire damage. This fight is already going to be kind of funny, but we can make it funnier. With the Lord's Divine Fortification spell, our holy resistance is buffed by 60%. All right, Radahn, what kind of damage you got? Oh yeah, and Code Red melts him. Elden Beast next. It has slightly better fire resistance, but we charge in for some strong attacks. It hits us with its breath. Oh, sweetie, come on. I think it kind of knows it's over. It starts throwing for content. We get 2 strings of melee attacks in a row, break its stance, and apply the wild cherry flavor. After that, it gets scared and starts running away like it normally does. As it goes for the Elden Stars, we hit it with charged attacks and get a stance break. When you do a critical hit animation, you're invincible, so it'll help us wait out the Elden Stars. Not that they were doing that much damage anyway. A few zero sugars and some wild cherry gets us the win, and we chug jug one last delicious Pepsi. 7 hours 18 minutes with 41 bosses slain and 24 deaths. This is a super fun challenge. It's gonna land in B tier behind Shrek. But that's kind of just because I was a goober who couldn't wait to fight the cleanrots at the beginning. I thought this was going to be a test of using healing spells, but it ended up being a test of how quickly can you kill a boss so they don't touch you. Hey, what if I tried to do a speed run? Wouldn't that be funny? To watch these runs live, follow me on Twitch. We find new ways to play Elden Ring all the time. Join my Patreon if you want to give me money. It's the best place to do that. And sub to Tulok the Barbarian if you like tabletop RPGs and other silly stuff.